Husband gave me a birthday gift, a romantic dinner with his ex. He wanted the two of us to become friends because she would always be part of his life. When I woke up that morning, I was excited. My husband, Daniel, had been acting secretive for weeks, dropping hints that he had something special planned for me. I assumed it was a romantic getaway, or maybe a surprise party with close friends and family. I even went to work with a goofy smile on my face, thinking, wow, maybe after 5 years of marriage, he's finally learning how to be spontaneous. All day, I kept checking my phone, waiting for a message from him, but he stayed quiet. That only made me more excited. I pictured him at home decorating, maybe buying me flowers, maybe even writing one of those awkward little notes he rarely writes, but that always make me cry. When I finally came home, he was standing in the kitchen, already dressed in a crisp white shirt and navy blazer. His hair was neatly styled, and he smelled faintly of cedarwood cologne. The sight of him like that made my heart flutter, and for a second, I thought, this is it. He planned something truly romantic. Happy birthday, love, he said, smiling. He kissed me lightly on the lips, then grabbed his keys. Get dressed. I made reservations. Reservations? I asked, a little surprised. Where are we going? He grinned. You'll see. So I rushed to get ready, slipping into a black dress he'd always said was his favorite. I even wore the silver earrings he gave me on our second anniversary. I wanted the night to feel perfect. But when we pulled up in front of an upscale Italian restaurant, my excitement shifted into confusion. Standing right there at the entrance, waiting for us, was someone I recognized immediately, though I hadn't seen her in years. His ex, Clara. My stomach dropped. She looked stunning, of course. Long auburn hair, flawless makeup, a fitted red dress that screamed confidence. She waved at us as if this was the most natural thing in the world, like we were all old friends catching up. I turned to Daniel, whispering harshly, what the hell is she doing here? He squeezed my hand like he was calming a child. Don't freak out, okay? It's your birthday. Just trust me. Trust him? He had brought her to my birthday dinner. We walked inside together, Clara leading the way as if she belonged by his side. My chest felt tight, but I forced a polite smile as we were seated at a candlelit table. To the birthday girl, Clara said cheerfully, raising her glass once we had ordered drinks. Daniel told me so much about how special you are. I blinked, stunned. My own husband sat there, nodding along, as if this situation was perfectly acceptable. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Okay, what's going on? Why is she here? I demanded, keeping my voice low but firm. Daniel looked at me, calm as ever. Because, love, Clara is important to me. She always will be. And I thought, what better way to celebrate you than by bringing together the two most important women in my life? I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. The two most important women in his life? Clara reached across the table, her hand almost brushing mine. He's right. I know it might seem weird at first, but Daniel and I have such a long history. We've decided we don't want to lose each other, even if we're not together anymore. I hope you and I can be friends. Friends with a woman who once shared his bed, his secrets, his life. I stared at Daniel, waiting for him to laugh, to say it was some elaborate joke, but he just sipped his wine, watching me carefully, as though he was studying my reaction. The rest of the dinner was a blur. Clara carried most of the conversation, reminiscing about trips she and Daniel had taken, little inside jokes that I wasn't part of, stories about the old days, and the worst part, Daniel laughed along with her. Sometimes he looked at her in that way, like she was still familiar, still his safe place. Meanwhile, I sat there, picking at my pasta, smiling tightly when they looked at me, but inside, I felt like I was being tested, like this whole dinner wasn't for me at all, but for them. When dessert arrived, a slice of tiramisu with a candle in it, Daniel sang happy birthday softly. Clara joined in, her voice light and teasing. I made a wish, but I couldn't bring myself to blow out the candle. Later, as we drove home in silence, I finally asked, why would you do that to me? On my birthday of all days? He kept his eyes on the road, his jaw tight. Because, love, Clara isn't going anywhere. I needed you to see that. She'll always be a part of my life. If you can't accept that, then maybe we have a bigger problem. His words hit me like a punch. I didn't say anything else the whole way home, but that night, lying in bed beside him, I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. Why was Clara still so important to him? Why did he insist on forcing her into my life? And most of all, why did I get the feeling that this dinner was just the beginning of something much bigger? I barely slept that night. Daniel lay beside me, breathing evenly, as if nothing had happened, while my mind spun in circles. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Clara's face, that easy smile she gave him, the way he laughed at her jokes like no time had passed. At some point, I got up, padded into the kitchen, and sat in the dark with a glass of water. I couldn't shake the feeling that my marriage had just shifted, that some invisible line had been crossed. The next morning, Daniel acted as if everything was perfectly normal. He kissed me on the forehead, handed me a coffee, and left for work. No apology, no explanation, just routine. I wanted to scream. Instead, I called my best friend, Hannah. She had known Daniel and me since college, and if anyone could give me perspective, it was her.